हेलो स्टूडेंट, आपकी इन्वायरमेंट इकोलॉजी की क्लास कंटिन्यू करूंगा मैं वहीं से। इट्स इंट्रोडक्शन द एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजिकल सिस्टम। नाउ you have a broad idea about the variations of environment, what is environment, what are the component of environment, biotic component, abiotic component. We have discussed these things in earlier lecture. Now some other important aspects which I will expose in this class. Water cycle is very important aspect of our environment, and in the study of ecology it is very major topic, very much relevant to study. What is water cycle? Evaporation, process of becoming vapor, liquid to gas. Condensation, state of matter from gas to liquid, reverse of vaporization. Precipitation, the amount of water that falls to earth as snow, sleet, hail, rain, mist. Precipitation, transpiration, a loss of water from a plant through its leaves. Runoff, flow of water from snow and rain. Infiltration, process by which water on the ground enters to soil. These are by which water on the ground enters to soil. These are major aspect of water cycle. What is evaporation? The process जब water body का water heat पाके, the water connected with heat, then automatically evaporation शुरू हो जाता है. मीन्स वेपर, भाप, वाष्प बन जाती है. एंड दिस लिक्विड कन्वर्टेड टू गैस फॉर्म. स्टोव पे पानी रखा, उसमें गैस जलाई, देन गैस उठने लगती है ऊपर भाप के फॉर्म में. जैसे जैसे पानी बॉइल होगा, भाप, वाष्प, वेपर बनने लगेंगे. इट मीन्स द प्रोसेस इन विच द वाटर, पानी, इट इज अ लिक्विड फॉर्म, ट्रांसफॉर्म इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ गैस. दिस इज कॉल्ड इवेपोरेशन. कंडेंसेशन, वेयर गैस टू लिक्विड, इसको दोबारा से कंडेंसेशन किया जाता है. गैस ट्रांसफॉर्म इन द फॉर्म ऑफ रेन, कंडेंसेशन होता है. जस्ट उल्टा, देन फिर बारिश होने लगती है. प्रेसिपिटेशन, द अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर दैट फॉल फ्रॉम द टू द अर्थ एज स्नो, स्लीट, हेल, रेन. कितना अमाउंट पानी बरसा, कितना बर्फ गिरी, दैट इज precipitation. Transpiration, a loss of water from plant through its leaves. Leaves through evaporation होता है. Leaves के थ्रू भी plants का बहुत सारा पानी transpiration होता है. Run off, the flow of water from snow and rain. And infiltration, a process by which water on the ground in the soil. This is water cycle. It is the picture of water cycle. Here is in the blue shape. Here is, this is a water body, and here the sun, then the sunlight came on the surface, fall on the surface of this water body, पानी गर्म होता है एंड कंडेंस इवेपोरेशन शुरू हो जाता है. इवेपोरेशन शुरू होने के बाद फिर क्लाउड्स बनते हैं, ठीक है, और क्लाउड से फिर प्रेसिपिटेशन होता है, बारिश होती है. बारिश होने के बाद पानी फिर दोबारा से उसी वाटर बॉडी में चला जाता है. हियर इज प्लांट्स, ये प्लांट्स हैं, इनकी लीव्स के थ्रू क्या होता है, ट्रांसपायरेशन होता है, इनकी लीव्स से पानी निकलता है हीट के थ्रू, देन कंडेंसेशन होता है, क्लाउड्स बनेंगे और क्लाउड्स से पानी को बारिश कर. दिस साइकिल इज कॉल्ड वाटर साइकिल और हाइड्रोलॉजिक साइकिल. Now it is another picture of water cycle. Here is a water body, ocean, river, pond, lake, कुछ भी, और ये है साइकिल, here to here, here to here. पानी का वाटर बॉडी से कन्वर्ट होके बारिश करना थ्रू गैस फॉर्म, देन सॉलिड फॉर्म एंड देन बारिश, और फिर उसके बाद फिर से दोबारा से इवेपोरेशन के थ्रू गैस में ट्रांसफर हो जाना. दिस साइकिल नोन एज वाटर साइकिल. एंड सेकेंड वन इज कार्बन साइकिल. CO2 is a chemical formula of carbon dioxide. This is called carbon cycle. Plants release O2 into atmosphere as a waste product. हम सभी जानते हैं जो हम ऑक्सीजन लेते हैं, इस ऑक्सीजन को जितने पौधे हैं, प्लांट्स, ट्रीज है, ये रिलीज करते हैं. किस में रिलीज करते हैं? फोटोसिंथेसिस एक प्रोसेस है. जब सनलाइट उनकी लीव्स से पड़ती है, फिर फोटोसिंथेसिस होता है, उसमें वो एक तरह से सांस लेते हैं. दे रिलीज O2 वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट की तरह, और वो O2 हमारे लिए बहुत यूजफुल है, जो कि हम वी इनहेल एंड वी एक्सेल कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. We inhale O2, then release CO2 into the atmosphere, and एक अमाउंट से ज्यादा O2 एटमॉस्फेयर में हो जाती है. It became dangerous. ये डेंजरस है, खतरनाक होता है. तो जहां जहां डिफॉरेस्टेशन होगा, O2 को कंज्यूम करते हैं ये प्लांट्स और उसको ट्रांसफर करते हैं CO2 में, तो वो डेंजरस स्टेज हो जाती है. Factories and cars release CO2. Also, animals release CO2 into the atmosphere as a waste product. So, human being, animals, and through the technical activities of human beings, like from mining to industry and the motor vehicle, cars, factories, इन सभी जगहों से CO2 रिलीज होती है. ये एटमॉस्फेयर को पोल्यूट कर रही है. प्लांट्स यूज CO2 ड्यूरिंग फोटोसिंथेसिस एंड एनिमल्स यूज O2 फॉर रेस्पिरेशंस. Hello student, this is your environment and ecology class and I'm Shadab Hussain, your teacher. Today's lecture is on the role of NGOs, different NGOs and non-governmental organizations in the environmental protection. In this lecture, I will discuss some very important aspect of this topic, like what is the responsibility of NGO, why NGOs are very important in this regards, and I will point out some initiatives which are taken by different NGO groups, and also we will study some important NGO groups of India, and lastly I will explain about Greenpeace India and the initiatives of Greenpeace India. So, dear students, let's start today's topic: the role of NGOs in environment protection. As you know, many countries, almost all except some, most of developing country and most of developed countries like America, China and Russia, Germany, these are developed country, and developing countries like India, Pakistan, South Africa, you can say Brazil, you can say Malaysia, etc. These countries are facing the profound environmental, social and economic impact of rapid population growth, development and natural resources constraint. In the country like India, we are witnessing a rapid growth of population from 2-3 decades, and due to the large number of demographic data or a large data or a large number of population, we have facing so many problems, and these problems are associated with our economy, employment, health, education, different social aspect, and also this rapid population growth is not only affected socio-economic background, but this is very much dangerous for the environmental issues. Due to rapid population growth, small villages transform into the bigger towns, and towns converted in a large population, and cities, metropolitans transform as a dense ghetto populated city like you know Delhi, Calcutta and Mumbai. So when population increase, you have to settle down this population under roof. It means shelter. That's why the process of deforestation accelerate, and build new houses schemes. You know, nearby neighboring area of Delhi, you have found so many housing societies developed in those areas which are not suitable for which are not belong to residential area. They are forest land, they are cultivate, these lands are forest or cultivation land. Okay, having a strong NGO community with a clear mandate to engage civil society. If you have a strong NGO community, a country like India, we have a strong chain of NGOs. There are so many NGOs, those are working in the field of different social, economic and environmental issues. Engaged civil society, businesses and public sector can help countries to tackle these issues more successfully. In India, lots of non-government organizations help our government to tackle various issues. However, NGOs face many barriers in pursuing their missions, such as lack of understanding about their role in civil society and public perception that the government alone is responsible for well-being of citizens and residents. There is a misconception among many people that the fundamental responsibility of government is to take care the people of entire country, and only the government is responsible for all types of problem. It is not true. Demography is not created by government. It is our initiative. It is initiative of an individual, and we have to educate ourselves. We have to educate aware of family, neighboring and friend circle about this particular and very dangerous issue. That's why now the government of India trying to adopt a Chinese model of demographic control. It will be very beneficial for Indian conditions, because if we adopt a policy of two child, it will be very much beneficial for our future and future of our children, and it will also help our environment, our surrounding. We will be in a balanced condition, a balanced socio-economic and cultural condition after some years. So government is not responsible for well-being of citizen. I mean, government is not only. There are so many bodies which are doing their best to do for the well-being of the citizens or the residents of India. Environmental NGOs can play a crucial role in helping to plug gaps by conducting research to facilitate policy development, building institutional capacity, facilitating independent dialogue with civil society to help people live more sustainable life. You know what is the meaning of sustainable? I have earlier discussed this very important and popular term, sustainable development and sustainable life. Sustainable development is a development where less the development which is not dangerous for our surrounding or our environment, our planet, our earth. Sustainable life means the life which will sustain long duration, sustain in long duration, which will be healthy and full of happiness. While some of the barriers are being to be lifted, there are still many areas which require further reform and support in order to assist NGOs such as EWS and WWF worldwide funding, and EWS is a very important, and WWF is another important NGO which is globally working on the well-being of the people and provide funds to different smaller NGOs and organizations to conduct their work. These areas include the need for a legal framework to recognize NGOs and enable them to access more diverse funding sources, high-level support, endorsement from the local figureheads, and engaging NGOs in policy development and implementation. It means the role of NGOs are very, very much crucial. And here is very much scope for the different individuals, groups, societies to invest through these NGOs, provide fund to these NGOs, and NGOs can be a part of policy making, policy and the implementation of policy as far as the public matter or the public well-being is concerned. Here you can see these are some initiative of different groups. You can say it's a group of school teachers, and you can say it's a group of NGO people. They are trying to implement a plan and participate in different environmental programs. Yeah. The consequences of environmental pollution are not hard to compare, whereas solution to extending environmental pollution is not easy to come by. This is an attending complex and intricate debate and maybe single solution. However, attempts can always be made to find out solution to a specific problem, keeping in view the technological solutions, legal parameters, and judicial pronouncements. And the role of NGOs has a very important to protection of environment through social services. The NGOs from past 5 decades have witnessed the difficult problems encountered in providing health care services to our poor people, spread the awareness to public protections of the wildlife, forest, human rights, women and children. From 4-5 decades, NGOs played important role in the well-being of people. They are trying to aware our countrymen. They are trying to do something in the context of their health. They are providing different medicines and distribute organized free distribution programs of medicine. They are organizing health checkup camps in the for from the area of Delhi NCR or the other metropolises. They are working in the tribals area. They are working in the area of Dalit localities. They are working in the area of marginalized section. They are also working in among the people belongs to different marginalized communities like minority communities. They are trying to educate the people of slums. They are trying to do different humanistic attempts for the people who belongs to disabled communities like handicapped men or women, pregnant women, orphans, the older people, older women, older men, and eunuchs, prostitutes. They are doing a tremendous job for the different sections of Indian society which are directly neglected in some ways. That's why I would like to say NGOs are very, very key element in our social well-being program of the people, especially in the context of marginalized section. That's why Government of India and different funding organization provided fund to these NGOs, and NGOs are doing these initiatives at the grassroots level, at the village level, at the level of individual, at the level of a common women or the working women. It could be working women, it could be school going girl or a prostitute. NGOs are doing their best to for the well-being of people, but there are some exceptional cases exist. I am not denying that kind of incident. You can say, sir, there are lots of NGOs, they are just borrowing money from government or the other organization like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and exploit the fund, entire fund, and do nothing in the favor of any needy person. Yeah, it's true, it can happen, but most of the NGOs, most of the non-government organization are doing good in the sector of social welfare or social work. Human beings are the ecologically dominant species in whole ecosystem. Why? Because human beings have brain. That's why human being, from the starting or from the history of evolving from Homo sapiens to today's developed man, which have a developed brain. Most of species, which those are a muscular, heavy body, those have more power, but human being control or dominate all these species like tiger, giraffe, elephant, crocodile. These species are very, very much stronger than a human being, but a small human being of 5 feet 4 feet easily control a giant elephant, just because of brain. Although they have the same, and in the same manner human being is ecologically dominant species in the entire ecosystem, in entire universe, entire globe. Human being is also the most dangerous species for the environment, for the ecosystem, because human being is the biggest exploiter of ecological resources. All our species exploit this nature, exploit the natural resources in a limited way. just for their limited need of day-to-day life. But human being is very much dangerous. You can say it is a kind of fractious for our ecology resources. We, the human being, as a man, as a human, exploit or created endanger our ecosystem. Although they have the same need for heat, light, water and food that other species have, they alone possess attributes that give them dominance over other living species. Thus, human beings compete for more successfully than all other living creatures. Furthermore, human beings have been able to manipulate natural forces in the ecosystem with an intensity unsurpassed by any other living being. This manipulation has given rise to breakdown of all the natural self-protective and self-perpetuative mechanism built into nature, a situation made even worse by a belief that human beings have the right to the use the natural environment solely of their own design and end, without consideration for the consequences of their own design and ends, without the consideration for the consequences of their action on the system. With the gearing of industrial revolution, this human tendency towards nature become much stronger. The technology and the machines to subjugate nature became the redo for the modern world. As I have told you, human being become the most dangerous species for the natural resources, for our ecosystem, because human being have a developed brain, and the technical development of human society accelerate this type of exploitation. And after the industrial revolution, the growth of industries, the growth of different type of machines exploit very much fastly all the resources like mines, minerals, petroleum, trees, forests, water bodies, etc. That's why we are creating danger for our environment. And NGOs played a very crucial role, although these NGOs are also run by human beings. There are so many NGOs, so many human beings are doing their best for the protection and preservation of our environment and environmental concerns. The NGOs constitute a worldwide network interacting with governments and intergovernmental organizations in shaping international environmental policies, creating awareness among the public on current environmental issues and solutions, facilitating the participation of various categories of stakeholders in the discussion on the environmental issue, conducting participatory rural aspirations appraisals, being involved in protection of human right to have a clean environment, protecting the natural resources and entrusting the equitable use of resources, data generations on natural resource, timeline history of villages, analyze and monitoring of environmental quality, transferring information through newsletters, brochures, articles, audio visuals, organizing seminars, lecture and group discussion for promotion of environmental awareness, helping the villages administrative official in preparation, application and execution of project on environmental protection. These are the methods of different NGOs to do their work, to do social work among the grassroots of any society. These NGOs trying to aware people, organize seminars, lectures, distribute brochures, broadcast visual audio and visual records. Through these mediums, through these tools and through this kind of methodology, these NGOs trying to aware people for their environment or our ecosystem. That's why I am teaching you this topic, what is the role of NGOs in the protection of environment. Alright, next is, there are some very important NGO groups. I would like to name them. Assam Science Society. They impart environmental education and training through campus for teachers and students and conduct survey on environment. Publications, science books and journals. Assam Science Society, it is very much famous NGO of Assam. They educate student, teacher and conduct different program on environment, publish books and journals. Bombay Natural History Society aims to disseminate knowledge of flora and fauna by meaning of lectures, field trips, literature, expedition and to study wildlife related problem and recommend management plan to conserve wildlife and its habitat. It conduct field research project on bird migration, studies on the movement and the population structure of Indian avifauna. Bombay Natural History Society is very popular in the area of Konkan Coast, Maharashtra, and they are doing their best to conserve the coastal flora and fauna. They are organizing different education programs, lectures, distribute their literature among the people and trying to educate the area, the demography of that particular area. They are very much keen to save wildlife and wildlife sanctuaries. They have their own publications, Hornbill, 4 issues in a year, and other journals. Center for Environmental Education, CEE, is another prominent NGO. They mainly aim to create environmental awareness in the communities, conduct widespread environmental education and training programs through a very vast network. Publication and database, they have a vast range of publications, books, posters, educational packages, bibliographies and directories. There is also large computerized database, the Environment Education Bank, which has a collection of more than 800 environment concepts, about 2,500 environment related activities and hundreds of cases studies. And another important NGO group is Center for Science and Environment, CSE, involved in research, investigative and educational work in the field of pollution, forest, wildlife and water issues. They have their own publication and they are very much popular in the field of pollution control. They are trying to preserve our forest. They are trying to save our wildlife and protect land pollution and water pollution also. Narmada Bachao Andolan, it was a very prominent and very much popular movement of Medha Patkar. She belonged to this Narmada Bachao Andolan from Gujarat. Set up in 1986 under the leadership of Medha Patkar, it aimed mainly to educate those directly affected by large development projects such as tribals on the social and environment impact of such project, to protest against the construction of dams in the Narmada Valley in general, is struggling towards a right to information and a new environmentally sustainable water policy, to help the tribes to get a substantial share of government development scheme services, to enable them to undertake development activities themselves. They mainly educate, mobilize and organize residents of Narmada Valley on human rights and justice, alternative development policies, environmental issues related to big dams in general and the Narmada project in particular. They undertake survey of affected villages, protest against land and forest issues and government interference in this regards. They are fighting against displacement and disregards of the right of the people. They have their publication. They came out with a bi-monthly publication, the Narmada Samachar. And this movement is very popular. This movement created awareness in the valley of Narmada in Gujarat and aware people. There are so many women which are associated with Medha Patkar, and this movement pressurized government of India to do not interfere in the matter of tribals, in the matter of forest land. Ashoka, the Trust for Research in Ecology and the Environment. It is also a very much popular NGO and environment based think tank with global recognition. Ashoka generates interdisciplinary knowledge to inform policy practice toward conservation of sustainability. The organization has been working on the social environmental issues from local to global policy level. This is very much popular NGO, and the other NGO is Chintan Environment Research and Action Group. This is also very important NGO, Chintan. You have to see all the detail on different the websites of these NGO and note down the name of these NGO and go through the website. You have to get many more information and the programs you have seen, the various programs related to and the environment. Sankalp Turu Foundation, this NGO has issued digital channel to protect and conserve the environment. Sankalp Turu is an NGO which aims to promoting tree plantation across the country. This is very interesting. Now the Greenpeace India is the Indian branch of Global Environmental Group. Greenpeace is a global NGO, is a global environmental NGO, and Greenpeace have a concern of global environmental protection. Greenpeace India is a part of Greenpeace Global, a non-profit NGO with a presence in 55 countries across Europe, America, Asia. Greenpeace India has legally registered society in 4 locations, with Bengaluru as its headquarters and other branches at Delhi, Chennai and Patna. Greenpeace India states that it receives 60% of its funding from the donors in India, 38% from Netherlands-based Greenpeace International, and less than 1% from US-based Climate Work Foundation. As of from June 2014, the organization does not receive any foreign fund. This according to the organization, they do not accept money from governments, intergovernment organization, political parties, and cooperation in order to avoid their influence. That's why Greenpeace work very much independently. They, any government of any country, not create haven't created pressure on this particular NGO. Their core fundraising model is called direct dialogue recruitment, where the fundraising team goes out on the street directly, approaching to common people to discuss the current environmental condition and how Greenpeace is working towards bringing in a positive change. These discussions eventually lead to enrolling the interested person as a donor and as a volunteer. 2001, Greenpeace, along with victim worker of mercury thermometer factory in Kodaikal. 2001, Greenpeace exposed the contamination of Pringles potato chips and the Isomil baby food. And 2002, Greenpeace ran a month-long campaign to create awareness on the potential threat of what could have become the first GE food group. In 2003, Greenpeace forces Hindustan Unilever to collect mercury waste from its shut down factory in Kodaikal and send it to the US for recycling. 2004, Bayer pulled the genetic engineering research in India, clarifying its position in a letter to Greenpeace. 2005, 2006 to 10 until now, Greenpeace is very fantastic. Greenpeace India is doing very fantastic job in the field of environmental protection and also the life of Indians. They save the life of so many Indians, and by these initiatives and by these actions. In suppose 2006, Greenpeace exposed a scandal surrounding the Indian government permitting France to dump a ship full of hazard waste in India. It was a very big incident, and we have to think about the policy of any political government and the concern of environment is different thing. 2010, Greenpeace through a petition campaign succeed in including complete supplier liability in the nuclear liability bill. In 2014, our organization launched its first solar energy microgrid, making Dharnai, a village in Bihar, energy independent. Another action is in April 15, Government of India froze its bank account and suspend its license for failing to abide the FCRA norms. These kinds of initiative are always trying to pressurize these independent organizations and price to their actions. It's happened. It's very much common in any country of the world, but still these NGOs, this NGO especially in the context of Greenpeace, is doing their best in the context of human life, well-being of human life, expose different scandals and save our environment and our ecosystem. In 11, Madras High Court stated cancellation of Greenpeace India's registration, observing that Tamil Nadu Registrar Society had not followed principle of natural justice. These are the things which I have discussed just in front of you, because this is the picture where NGOs are doing some good things, some NGOs doing bad things, some NGOs are doing their tremendous job in the field of ecosystem and environment ecology, but government trying to pressurize because the government have their own political interest. Most of the endanger of ecology, environment is created by capitalist class, factory owners, and these factory owners and the capitalist class is the main group who provide fund to the different political parties. That's why the government never avoid this particular class. Any party, any government. That's why government trying to pressurize an independent NGOs which is doing like that. Now I think it's over. And today I have discuss a small story about the role of NGOs, especially in the context of Greenpeace and the other very important NGOs of India, which have their concern in the environmental issues. In the next lecture, I will discuss the next topic of this course, environment and ecology. Till that, bye, take care.